A cancer-causing cell phone tower on a school campus. Well, now that is being removed in the near future.
Prepare to be horrified and blown away by this bombshell Air Force report titled Radio Frequency Microwave Radiation Biological Effects, released by Griffiths Air Force Base, New York, New York. Now, when we go through this report, ladies and gentlemen, when we cruise through this report and get to the section titled Carcinogenic Effects, Pathological Reports, it says non-thermal effects may provide important clues to understanding the carcinogenic reactions in the human body. In the pathological reports section, it says upon examination, it was found that 35% of the mice had developed cancer after being exposed to merely 4.5 minutes a day for only 5 days a week. That's weekends off, for a little over a year, 59 weeks. Now, going through this report, it talks about not only the cancer-causing effects, but the effects on behavior, the immune system. It's mind-blowing. And this is why they're trying to suppress the information, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, you know, these doses that they're talking about, you know, are from the microwatt range to the milliwatt range. And you have to remember that each of these rectennas, each one of these rectangles on the Death Tower is a 400 watt transmitter. So you have to wonder how many diseases are being spawned and caused by these Death Towers. Listen to this: effects on chromosomes. It has been observed that the disturbances in chromosomic activity can cause cancerous aberrations to occur in the human body. Serious genetic mutations can also result from such abnormalities that can lead to malignancies. Now, we're going to provide a copy of this report. There are many bombshell reports like this one, over 1,000 that are being tracked so far. But this one from the Air Force, look, who are you going to believe out there? They're telling you. Are you going to believe Sprint, Verizon, or the Air Force, bitches? That's what we're saying. Now, they're saying here, reported alterations in the chromosomes of bone marrow cells leading to leukemia and the like, not only through this type of radiation, but also the power lines. And we're going to be getting into, you know, everything and anything you can think of about these new Death Towers that are just springing up everywhere, near your schools, in your neighborhoods, everywhere you look. Right? This new 5G, these new square antennas. Getting back to this bombshell report. Even low-level exposure leads to acute chromosome mutation. I want you to write that down. Low-level exposure leads to acute genetic mutations. This has been reported by numerous sources. Alterations in the chromosomes, alterations in the genetic code, causing polyploidy, chromatic deletion, acentric fragments, and chromatic gaps in the DNA. This is some bad stuff. They're citing especially pulsed radiation. The type that you find in your routers, the types that you find in, you know, on your cell phones, the cell towers, and the like. But there's more. There's more. You have to read this for yourself. We're just going to go through this quickly. Linear shortening of chromosomes, irregularities in chromosomal envelopes, abnormal bridges and stickiness, translocations, chromosomal breaks and gaps, chromatoid, I want to say breaks, but it's chromated breaks, acentric chromosomes, dicentric chromosomes, deletions, fragmentation, ring chromosomes. You're probably not up on your biology here, but this is some pretty dastardly effects being observed. Reported evidence indicates The biological interaction with EM fields can cause the formation of mutagens in cells. In 1974, researchers published results. Mutagens were observed to form in cells that were irradiated by a pulsed radio frequency microwave source operating at 37 gigahertz. That's 5G, bitches. And at a measly 1 milliwatt per centimeter squared power intensity. They concluded that the irradiation of tissue by pulsed RF radiation sources causes cell membranes to become more permeable to destructive chemical mutagens. That means everything in the environment becomes much more toxic. You have to read this report. It's absolutely bombshell. And when you think that they're putting these things, near the schools, near your windows, near your homes, everywhere, what are you going to do? They're being deployed everywhere. How are you going to stop these death towers? You can stop them by going to your city council. Stop the 5G before they erect these death towers in your town. In California, it's too late. It's burning like hell. They want to ban the Bible, ladies and gentlemen. It's burning like hell out there in California right now. It's literally the apocalypse for those people out there. That's what they get. Just saying. Getting back to this bombshell report, like and share, ladies and gentlemen. Don't just sit there. Like and share. Get people involved. Feel free to mirror. We're censored everywhere. You can't imagine why. We just report the news. Not allowed. In any case, all sorts of mutations, malignancies, low doses, short period of time. They've known this for decades. And it's not a matter of the evidence isn't it. There's tons of evidence. They just don't want to look at it. They just don't want to look at it. They're like, no, not that. No. Here, check out our studies. Our studies show that it's safe. Oncogenic effects. It messes with the hormone system, with the hormones, which are very, necessary for the basic functions of life. So you might think, hormonal imbalance. You might be a little, femmy or something. There's all sorts of things governed by hormones, like, you've heard of diabetes, you've heard of insulin and the like. It's more than just sex hormones out there. Cardiovascular effects, heart attacks, strokes, literally, due to RF irradiation. Low-level fields, exposures 0.5 to 1 volt per meter cause the heart rate to become slower than normal. And there's a lot of things people should be looking at in terms of levels of what they should be exposed to. 1 volt per meter max, 1 milliwatt per meter max. And the scientists overwhelmingly say 0.4 Tesla magnetic fields. That's it. Anything above that, and you're putting yourself at high risk. And this is why we promote the EMF 390, the EMF meter out there that you can get on our website, stfnreport.com. You want to know what you're getting dosed with when it comes to these death towers, ladies and gentlemen. I know we've got footage of the EMF 390. Our website, goes over the safety limits, what other people are saying about it, and the like. And so you really want to check that out, stfnreport.com. You've probably seen the videos of it somewhere, wherever it may be. If you're just joining us, big breaking news, Bombshell Air Force report absolutely devastates the telecom industry's assertion that these death towers are safe. This is the EMF 390 in vertical mode. It has tons of modes. It's like no other EMF meter you've ever seen. It blows away the competition for a fraction of the price. Don't get screwed by Home Depot with the El Cheapo for only $20 that only picks up the magnetic fields. You want something that picks up these death towers, ladies and gentlemen. In any case, so we've compared the EMF 390 to, the gigahertz solution, the tri-field meters. They're all on par, but they're not the same price. And the other meters are real basic as far as their functions and what they show you on the screen and this, that, and the other. The EMF 390 can sync to your computer. You can use it as a dosimeter. It blows away the competition. Check it out now. Save up for the holidays. It's only $100. Well worth the investment. when you see what you're getting dosed with out there, it's incredible. The numbers that are coming in, you're definitely at risk out there. And I know you'll feel a whole lot better once you know what you're getting dosed with, and you can mitigate and control and, be assured of the dosage here. Getting back to this report, because there's more things that we just want to cover real quick in terms of what's in here. Hematological effects. Of course, we know that it causes leukemia, messes with the bone marrow, the immune system, the central nervous system. Huge changes in behavior were noticed by researchers to low-level radiation. Low-level radiation can induce serious CNS dysfunctions. And researchers found numerous disorders and included, hyperactive thyroid, disruption of the endocrine process, alterations in the sensitivity to smell, headaches, irritability, and increased fatigue. Other researchers have acknowledged similar biological responses, all referenced. And of course, the new studies like the Interphone study and the like, conclude as much. Rare cancers forming in the presence of radio frequencies, as well as highly malignant. Several experiments were performed, demonstrate the biological effects on living organisms. Low power EM fields showed alterations in electrical activity of the cerebral cortex, disruptions in the activity of neurons. So, this can induce all sorts of things like, slowing you down, dumbing you down to neurological degeneration. So undoubtedly a portion of MS and other
a cancer-causing cell phone tower on a school campus. Well, now that is being removed.
And let's not forget the fact that there are, numerous news reports out there talking about cancer clusters right around these towers, not just in schools in California, but Chicago, other places. We've reported on it. Of course, those videos get taken down every time they censor free speech. The big tech, the beast system doesn't want you to know what you're getting dosed with when it comes to these death towers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's like all of the other eugenics programs out there, like the fluoride, like the vaccines. And it's really, suspicious. I'm going to tell you straight up, it's super suspicious that nobody's talking about this. They would rather be talking about Russians or Ukrainians or Iranians or Syrians, but nobody wants to talk about, what they're doing to our society right now. And look, this is just the beginning of the end when it comes to what's about to hit. The Skynet, the Robocops, the Terminators, and the like. It's all going to be using the 5G. There's, plenty of reason to stop it. Not to mention that these things are humming. These things that are going up right now, these new death pods, mini death towers, are humming, nonstop as they irradiate you, with like this invisible gas, if you will. And back in the day, they used to bring people to the gas chambers. Now they've brought the gas chambers to you. And this is the reason why everybody should be concerned about what's going on here. And they can sell it as 5G, they can sell it as 5G plus, they can sell it as, super 5G, whatever. These things are death towers. And the fact that they're not talking about it, like they're not talking about the geoengineering, like they're not talking about the fluoridation of the water supply, like they're not talking about, a myriad of other things, is highly suspicious. You can love, what they're doing with the economy, but that's just part of the death trap. They suck you into these big cities so that you can get the, job of your dreams, and they're fucking dosing you like a rat out there. So like and share, get this information out there everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, check out our website, stfnreport.com. Be sure to check out the EMF 390 if you haven't. I'm sure most people would rather have an EMF 390 than toothpaste. We could be selling you toothpaste or vitamins or some shit, right? But this thing really blows away the competition. You'll be so happy that you have one. You'll want to get one for everybody I'll be honest. in any case, especially, with reports like this. And again, exposure levels here, 5 to 10 microwatts per centimeter squared. That's easily a phone call, and it's messing with your, with your brain and your nerves and all of that stuff. Biological effects, behavioral effects. Researchers indicate that behavior may be the most sensitive biological component to RF radiation. Of course, it's MK Ultra mind-altering shit that they're, irradiating you with. Why would they have it any other way? It's not like this stuff was good for you. And there's a reason why people are talking about it, is because the evidence is overwhelming that there's something wrong. It's just like everything else, like the baby powder or the Zantac or, whatever they might sell you one day, the Fen-Phen, and then, just quickly remove the next day. What would people do if they actually, admitted that these reports from the Air Force and other laboratories and other government agencies exist? Well, they would freak out. You would expect like a big, warning sign on all of these cell phones, cell towers, nonstop, infomercials telling you to watch out. These things are deadly dangerous. They would, put them away, like they would keep them at least a minimum distance away from schools and the like, but they don't do that just, for the same reason that they fluoridate your water. They're out to get you, ladies and gentlemen. These people are out to get you. And if you're living in denial, with your MAGA hat, then I'm sorry, but they're not helping this situation at all. And, this isn't the Rachel Madcow show. Don't get confused just because we're like, bringing that up. Who else are you gonna complain to? You gonna go complain to Nancy Pelosi? I think people should be going straight to the top and complaining, to the president and saying, what's up with these death towers that you've rolled out on the nation? This is a huge risk to everyone, every child in the country. And you want to come out there and be like, let's make America safe again. Look, there is something terribly wrong with society today. It looks like the zombie apocalypse. California looks like the book of Revelation right now. It's burning up. It's like the tribulation has begun over there, it looks like. All right. People are evacuating. It's become a total third world country. And, that's just being nice. And you'd think like, this would be a bigger priority, trying to save our own people in this country. But no, they want to talk to you about, some kind of like mystery, conspiracy on Fox News or something, the Russians, the Ukrainians, who can follow it, after all these years, really. They want to entertain. They want to keep you busy so that they can just finish up rolling out their Skynet. And that's really going to be the beginning of the end for humanity, the beginning of this beast system. They're planning to plug everybody into the Matrix. I don't know how you feel about that out there, but once you plug in, you become an avatar for the Skynet, for the AI. They're in control. You're just going to be a robot, just kind of, walking around receiving orders out there. So I think we should get back to this report because there's a few other things that we wanted to talk about here, if we can. But behavioral disorders, as well as the synergistic effect with drugs. And this gets back to mutagens and toxins coming into the body more readily in the presence of a magnetic field. This is something that people should really be thinking about because this radiation suppresses your immune system. It allows toxins and bacteria and viruses to more readily come in, as well as other drugs and whatever they might be administering, like the fluoride or the adjuvants in the vaccines. It's making their whole program more effective. And that they want it real bad. They're putting it like on every city street. So they must want it, they must need it. And that's all the more reason for us to oppose it, You know, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, an independent, a conservative, a libtard, whatever, you know, nobody wants these death towers in their neighborhood. Nobody. And I think that everybody should get together and forget about, you know, what might be keeping us apart right now, and think about what they're really doing to our country, what they've done to our country in the last 40, 50 years. Right? We've gone from the Happy Days, the Brady Bunch, Ozzie and Harriet, to whatever it is out there today. And while it might look nice, you know, from like a drone's perspective, what's really going on in the city streets is a concentration camp. They force you to go to work. They force you to get dosed, you know, and it's just like no matter what you do, what you buy, you're getting some of it. And it's not just the death towers, you know, it's obviously the fast food, the industrial food. And, you know, think of all the soda that you drink. That's made with tap water, tons of fluoride and other chemicals in it, you know, flame retardants and other things. All right. Our food is illegal in most other countries, and people want to talk about the Russians. Why don't we talk about all the things that aren't going right in our country? And while there might be things to be, you know, proud of, there's a lot of things to be ashamed of as well. We're leaving a lot of people behind, and it seems like, you know, it's being done on purpose. Not only that, but they're, you know, seriously dosing people, messing with your rights, and, you know, dividing the country and the like. I think that we should search for more stability instead of hostility, as well as some common sense, you know, intelligence when it comes to, you know, what's going on out there. We should have a debate. Do we really need to download a movie in 1 second at the cost of what we're getting dosed with out there? I think most people know the answer to that question. Be sure to like and share this video. Feel free to mirror it. Start a channel, mirror our content. Be sure to sign up for, you know, time at your city council meeting, so that you can talk about this issue and other issues with your, you know, fellow citizens out there. Listen to this. Exposure to RF radiation has been observed to cause physical alterations in the essential cells of the immune system. So we can see that throughout this report and many other reports, it's saying the same thing. This really attacks like the white blood cells from the bone marrow on, which leads to, you know, a total shutdown of the immune system. You basically have AIDS. You're more likely to get an infection. Every cold, every disease that comes your way, you know, every little bug like in the pool, all of a sudden it turns into like a, you know, a face eating, you know, kind of thing or whatever, or a meningitis or whatever. You know, look, this is a real cause for concern. Effects on the eyes, cataracts and the like, a 400% increase in the last 20 years, according to official reports, as well as other problems. We're hearing about all other problems with cataracts and the like, auditory effects. They're hearing voices and the like, literally. And we're not going to get into the geometry resonance clothing. There are things you can do to mitigate your exposure, but from what we've discovered is that there are, you know, probably like, you know, a dozen or 2 dozen death traps in your city. You know, whether it be the parks, the shopping mall, the schools, the gas station. Gas stations are hardcore because everybody's got to get gas. Schools because everybody's, you know, got kids for the most part. Shopping malls because you got to get stuff. So wherever people go, and, you know, let's not even talk about like the stadium and things like that, but wherever people go, the busy roads and like, they're getting dosed. And so you basically want to find, you know, something else to do for the most part, or limit your exposure to, you know, an hour a day or something like that to begin with. You can get the clothing, and you don't, it's, you know, look, you don't have to get overly, you know, crazy about it like with a tinfoil hat, but the tinfoil works really well. Anything that can reflect light can reflect these radio waves as well. Lots of things to discover, lots of things to talk about, but this is definitely at the core of the beast system, and it's real necessary that everybody, you know, get together and push back against this component of it, the communications aspect. You know, they're shutting your communications down. Let's shut down their communications. Oppose the 5G. Sign up in your town. Get this information out there, ladies and gentlemen. This report is bombshell. Like and share, read it for yourself. Tell your friends about it, because once they see Air Force, they'll understand that, this is some serious stuff, and it's no joke. And they're putting this everywhere. It's a crime. They should be talking about this on the news instead of the Russians and the Ukrainians and the like. Until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's a struggle of good versus evil out there. If you're listening to this, you are the resistance.